Okay, Nick, can you please tell me what's happening in Russia today and tomorrow with the Duma elections?
Yes, we've got the elections tomorrow, so I'm here with a number of people from various independent groups here to act as observers. Today we've been taken around the commission, the electoral commission, which looks and tries to ensure that elections are run freely and fairly.
So what do you think about the elections in Russia?
Well, obviously I'll wait and see tomorrow, but I was very impressed by what the electoral commission people were saying about the precautions to ensure that things are as fair as possible. And obviously, I think it's obvious there are imperfections with the system. There are imperfections with all human design systems. But as someone involved for many years in politics in Britain, I would say that certainly taking it at face value, there's much here which is freer and better organised and more democratic than the system in England.
So you say that the system in Russia is freer and better organised than in England?
I believe so.
Could you tell me something more concrete about what do you mean?
Well, there's a number of things. First of all, there's fundamentally no postal votes here. In Britain, everybody can get a postal vote. The Labour Party, when it was in government, created the system. Their party machine has been designed to use that system, and it gives them such a huge advantage. Someone with a postal vote is 8 times more likely to vote than someone who hasn't. And we've reached the stage now in some parts of Britain when they hold, especially a small local council by-election, their people all vote by post. And because it's their people also control the town halls, they don't even put signs saying polling station on the polling stations. So people, their supporters vote, and other party supporters don't even know where to go to vote unless the parties tell them. And that's an unbelievable system. Similarly, I was looking in the Moscow Times, which is obviously a very anti-Russian paper, the English,
owned by Finns.
The English version of it, owned by Finns. I was looking in this week's issue, and they're talking about the complaints that have been made. And one complaint which isn't made, and there's complaints of bribery and things like this. There's complaints of government officials using their position to help the ruling party. I've seen that all the time in Britain against my party, all the time. One of the complaints that isn't made is of intimidation or violence directed against opposition parties, whereas in Britain we have a thing they call it Unite Against Fascism. It's directed against nationalist parties. It's sponsored by government ministers. One of its actual founder members, Packers, is Mr. Cameron, the Prime Minister, and it openly uses violence against its political opponents. Now, as I say, when even the Moscow Times isn't accusing the Russian government of that, then I assume they're not doing it. But it's a fact. It's done not just in Britain, but in many countries of the Western world. If you're a nationalist, you're beyond the pale, and therefore you're fair game to be attacked by hired thugs who are organised by the establishment.
But what do you think about Russia and about the United Russia Party and about Putin? Now they have the elections for the Parliament of Russia. Next March they are having the elections for the president. What's happening in Russia?
Well, overall, as a nationalist, I think it's up to the people of each country to run their own affairs, and it's not really right for other people to come and stick their noses in, to an extent even by saying what the position is. But from a personal point of view, I think that Russia clearly was terribly abused by the people who seized control of it under the communist system. When communism finally fell, there was a rush throughout the Soviet bloc to privatise everything, the rule of the oligarchs. And I think in the end, whatever the undoubted flaws of the present system in Russia are, the main crime in terms of the international community's eyes is that Putin and his people have stopped the oligarchs looting Russia. They've directed at least some of the money and the resources to help ordinary Russians, and the oligarchs and their friends in the West will never forgive Putin for that.
So please tell me, Nick, what's happening in the European Union now? Will the European Union collapse? Will the Eurozone collapse? What's happening?
What's happening is the people who created the euro never really just wanted a single currency. They wanted a single economic government. They knew that various countries, the people of the countries, would never consent to that democratically. So they created a system which they knew was fundamentally unstable, knowing that at some point it would create what they called a beneficial crisis. and it would be a beneficial crisis because it would provide the excuse to have this central central government. So that was the plan. I think the whole thing, because of the debt problem, the whole thing has now run away with itself and is possibly out of control and unfixable. So it may simply just collapse. On the other hand, obviously what they're now trying to do to salvage something from it will have to be a smaller Europe, or a smaller Euro region, Eurozone, much more tightly knit. Their problem there is that for it to be anything other than just Germany, with a few little extras, it has to include France. But France economically is a basket case. So I think there's a possibility that what was going to be a clever scheme may in fact end up as a total disaster for the people who wanted it. The unfortunate thing, of course, is that ordinary people in countries all over Europe, whether they're in the Eurozone or out of it, are going to pay the consequences of what is a combined mess of extraordinarily greedy and corrupt banks and extraordinary greedy and ambitious and venal politicians.
Thank you very much.